guys, Shane Stars with DroidMotorX.com. Today I'm bringing you guys a very highly requested video. This will be my Galaxy Note 2 versus Droid DNA video. I'm partial to both of them. These are both of the flagship devices on Verizon right now, and they really match up very well. But there are some things that make one device stand out from the other, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The first thing I want to look at is the design. Now, the Samsung Galaxy is obviously a beastly phone. It is really huge. The Galaxy Note 2 has more of a plastic build, but just to look at it, it doesn't look very plasticky. It kind of has this aluminum brushed look and feel to it. Verizon went haywire with their logos on this phone, but really I don't think that really retracts from the design. Now the Samsung Galaxy Note 2, if you've ever seen the Galaxy S3, everything here is going to be familiar. It just looks like a bigger version of that phone. So at 5.5 inches, it can be a little difficult to get to all of the elements on the screen with one finger. But when you get used to it, it's difficult to go back to a smaller phone like the Galaxy S3. As far as the thickness, if you put these two phones together, the Droid DNA looks a whole lot thinner. That's because the edges are tapered, and especially if you look at the bottom, you can really tell that there's not much of a difference. In fact, the Droid DNA at its thickest point is 1 millimeter thicker than the Galaxy Note 2. If you look at the top, it's tapered and it doesn't look nearly as thick as the Galaxy Note 2. The Droid DNA, however, has awesome accents. So, like, around the camera you have this red, it says Beats Audio down here, and you have the nice stylish grills on the sides there. This phone really stands out. You'll turn heads with both devices. Both devices are conversation starters. Everywhere I go, people ask what the DNA is, and they want to know, you know, how on earth could HTC have made such a thin phone? Because it really is deceiving. It looks a whole lot thinner than it actually is because of those tapered edges. On the other hand, the Galaxy Note 2, everyone always wants to know how in the world you carry such a big device. And this really will start conversations. Buy one of these, take it out in public, and see for yourself. So another thing about the design here, with the Galaxy Note 2, you have your power button here. So if you're a one-handed user, that is really easy to get to as long as you're right-handed. Of course, if you're left-handed, that might be a little difficult to reach all the way over there for that. On the Droid DNA, however, you do have to kind of scoot the phone down to get to that power button there. So I like the power button placement here a little better. The capacitive buttons, I like those even better than the physical home button on the Galaxy Note 2, but that is also personal preference. I do like to have physical buttons because it takes up less screen real estate. The volume buttons are outset and easy to find on the Galaxy Note 2, whereas the volume buttons on the Droid DNA took a while to get used to their placement. They're flush with the device and not as easy to find. So in all, the design is kind of a personal preference thing. For me, I like the DNA better as far as the design goes. I think that the 5-inch screen is really the sweet spot. But for somebody that is really a productive type person, the design of the Galaxy Note 2 with the S Pen and also the 5.5-inch screen, that may be a better fit for you. So the next thing that we'll talk about are the displays. The Samsung Galaxy Note 2 has a 5.5-inch 720 by 1280 HD Super AMOLED display, and it looks amazing in its own right. It really does. Now, the Droid DNA, on the other hand, has a 5-inch 1080 by 1920 Super LCD 3 display with a 440 PPI. The Galaxy Note 2 has a PPI of 260, so you're really going to notice a difference when you're looking at high detailed images. You're going to get a whole lot more clarity, a whole lot more detail on the Droid DNA. If you zoom in on text on the DNA, you're not going to see any pixelation, whereas you may see a little bit on the Galaxy Note 2. If you don't have them side by side, you probably won't tell much of a difference. So if I go and pick up my Galaxy Note 2, set it down, and then go pick up my Droid DNA, I probably won't tell much of a difference. But side by side, you can really tell just how different they look. You may not can see in the video, but the Droid DNA definitely has a much crisper, much clearer screen. You can see a ton more detail on the Droid DNA. One other thing that I noticed is that the Super LCD 3 display was better for viewing outdoors, whereas the AMOLED display, not as good, still pretty good. If you turn up the brightness or if you have auto brightness on, you're always going to be able to see your screen, even on the Galaxy Note 2. But for me, I was able to see the screen better outdoors on the Droid DNA. So the next big topic for me is the Android skin. So on the Note 2 you have TouchWiz, and TouchWiz is chock full of features. Especially on the Note 2 you have all of the S Pen functionality. So you have like your S Note, you have the ability to be able to move your S Pen over the screen and it detects that. And that's all nice and dandy, and it really is a novelty in my opinion. It was awesome whenever I first took it out of the box. I played with that thing for the first couple of days, and over the past week or so, I've noticed myself just not using it at all. But it has some really cool features other than that. If I press the back button, it brings up a multi-window. I can pull my browser down and then pull like my S Note down if I wanted to take notes and view. I can take notes here and also view the internet. I actually do use this feature quite a lot. And then also the pop-up browser, like whenever I'm searching through my YouTube videos and there's an external link, I can actually pop up a browser so I don't lose my place in the YouTube app, and I can go into that pop-up browser and view pages on that. So those are some features that I really do use. I don't use the S Voice so much, and you know, some of the other Samsung features I don't really use a ton, but it is full of features. HTC Sense, on the other hand, it has some neat features as well, such as the gallery. It has its own unique recents, which is really cool. And it's always been known as being a big, bulky skin overlay. But with the quad-core processor, it's not going to bog down the phone at all. So on the Droid DNA, I actually kind of like HTC Sense 4. Of course, the skins on the phones are going to be personal preference. I happen to like TouchWiz just a little bit better than HTC Sense. But like I said, that will be your personal preference. The next thing I want to talk about is performance. Now, they both are running quad-core processors. The Samsung Galaxy Note 2 has the Exynos 5 that's clocked at 1.7 GHz, while the HTC Droid DNA has a Snapdragon S4 Pro that's also quad-core and is clocked at 1.6 GHz. In most benchmarking tests, the Droid DNA is going to outperform the Galaxy Note 2 hands down. But in day-to-day functionality, opening applications, booting up, playing media, surfing the internet, you're not going to notice much of a difference whatsoever. So if we boot up both of the cameras, they boot up almost instantly. You're not going to notice a difference there. We'll boot up both phone applications. Almost instantly there. We'll boot up the text messaging applications. Same thing, almost instantly. Now we'll go to like a third-party application. We'll open up Twitter. Okay, the Galaxy Note 2 seemed to have beat it, but I may have... Let's try that again. Okay, they open those up just about instantly. And then just day-to-day use, flying through the screens, you're not going to notice much of a difference whatsoever. They both perform just fine. So as you can see, both phones perform just about the same, and the only time you'll really notice a difference probably is when you're playing video games that are high intensity on the processors. The Droid DNA may outperform it just by a little. It's just going to have a slight edge. The next thing we'll cover is battery life. So for me, that's one of the most important things about a phone, is how long is it going to last me. I'm a power user, so you'll find me, I'm streaming YouTube, I'm streaming podcast all day long, I'm browsing the internet, I'm checking email, I'm looking at Twitter, and I probably keep my screen on for 4 or 5 hours in a day. I found that on the Galaxy Note 2, with my power use, I was able to get through an entire day and even all the way through the night until I had to go to sleep. So normally I would get at least 15 hours and still have some battery power left, 10 to 15% left after 15 hours with 5 to 7 hours of screen on time. The Droid DNA, however, it has the 2200 milliamp hour battery, and it is packing that 1080p display and the quad-core processor, but it does very well considering the size of its battery. I was able to get about 12 hours out of that battery with 3 or 4 hours of screen on time on a regular basis. For someone that's not a power user like me, the Droid DNA, the battery life should be fine for you. You should be able to get through an entire day. With the Galaxy Note 2, if you're not a power user like me, you should be able to get through the entire day and then have battery left the next morning when you wake up. So for me, the Galaxy Note 2 is the first Android device that has really had that wow battery life. So really, it's personal opinion on these devices. They stack up very well together, and to me it really boils down to, do you want better battery life and features, or do you want an awesome 1080p display and a little bit more of a manageable screen in that 5 inches, kind of the sweet spot on the Droid DNA. Like I said, they both perform very well. So really, you're looking at battery life and features versus 1080p display and a smaller screen. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Go ahead and pull the trigger on that subscribe button. You can find more of me on Twitter at DroidModderX, where I'll keep you guys updated with all the latest videos, giveaways, and just whatever I'm doing at the time. You'll know about everything on Twitter. Also, you can find me at DroidModderX.com, where I have the latest in Android and tech news. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, Shane Stars with DroidModderX.com, and today is an exciting day. The Galaxy Note 2 on Verizon has been unlocked.